Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Miguel Show. The only show where you don't even get to see your host because your host is behind the shadow of darkness. That's right. Behind the shadow of darkness. Why? Because he is walking in his neighborhood at nighttime. And here I am, walking around. And I just wanted to say hello to everybody and welcome to, I guess, the 11th of January, 2011. Actually 2021. I can't believe, first of all, let me just state that I actually can't believe that I'm living in the age of 2021. It sounds like a science fiction movie. 2021. 2021. You know, that reminds me of 5150, right? Van Halen's album, which I'm sure very few people even remember these days, but 5150, I think, is an article of the code, some state code or federal code that holds people against their will because of psychiatric emergencies. I wonder what 2021, the code talks about there in our California code. Who knows? Who knows? We may never know. I may never know because I may never research it because I don't care enough to look it up. Let me tell you, there's a lot of facts out in the world, and thank God there's artificial intelligence, because if we didn't have artificial intelligence, I don't think anybody would actually care about all the facts. Hopefully artificial intelligence develops to a point where it can not only tell you the conclusions, you know, the results of all of its thinking, but also all of the reasons behind the thinking, all the facts that it synthesized to come up with a solution. Right, these days we've got GPT-3, which scientists are having fun with, programmers are having fun with, I've actually had fun with too, and I can't wait to see what's on the horizon. I know scientists, computer scientists, are coming up with all kinds of computer algorithms that don't require as much training in order to get the same level of sort of processing of the text. So I'm excited about all that happening, and all I need to do is stay alive. In fact, you know, what I'm noticing is that the world is changing so rapidly that for me, I think my main goal is not just to live an amazing life, but to stay alive, to experience how our culture is changing. I mean, just staying alive, just being available, aware, available to witness it. That to me is becoming even more important than having an amazing life. I know. Like, this whole idea of having an amazing, outstanding life is so subjective, and I don't know if it's worth anything at all. Now, I can say that I have had an amazing life. I've been married twice. I've had a child. I've gone to college. Got a master's degree. Had an amazing career already, and you know, I'm in good health, and I'm breaking down all kinds of barriers related to my mental state and my physical state. So I feel like I've really lived an amazing life, and let me tell you, my physical body and mental body at the moment, they're as good as they've ever been. And so I can definitely say I've had an amazing life. Up until now, you know, 50 years into it. But let me tell you, from what I know now, I actually don't need a whole lot. I'm noticing that all I need, I really don't need, like, in order to be happy, I don't need a lot of things. I just need a place to call home, you know, a roof over my head, a bed to sleep in, some clothes, some basic food, and I'm just totally satisfied. I don't need anything else. And I do my best to rustle up a cadre of friends and relatives that I can rely on or be around, but you know, I'm actually quite an independent soul, and you know what that means is that provides me a huge benefit in the sense that if I really just wanted to hunker down, I could really totally hunker down. I might just very well do it. I might just hunker down for the next 50 years. And really, to tell you the truth, it would be very easy. Just hunker down. I think I could be, honestly, I think I could just be happy just spending all my days working and weightlifting. Just doing that. Working, weightlifting, and consuming social media. Consuming social media posts. Watching TV and movies. Boom, that's it. You know? I'm serious. So what that means is that by taking on this low-risk lifestyle, basically being a granny, you know, what do grannies do? Well, they don't do a lot of driving. They don't do high-risk activities. So they also stay indoors a lot. So what does that mean? I mean, I could stay indoors a lot because I could just work out at the gym, you know. So what that means is that I never get injured because I only participate in low-risk physical activities. I don't go in any kind of debt because I don't need to spend lots and lots of money on big things like sailboats and big houses and stuff like that. Since I don't go anywhere, I don't get exposed to any viruses. It's like becoming a hikikomori. And I'm thinking, man, I think I want that hikikomori lifestyle. But of course I'd go to the gym and maybe I'd have online friends or something like that. But I see that there is benefit to the hikikomori lifestyle. I know the hikikomori folks. I wouldn't necessarily seclude myself socially as much as they're doing. And I certainly would have a job. So I would definitely not rely on my parents for income. You know, but man, that sounds like a pretty awesome life, and I might just very well go that pathway. You know, every once in a while I think, hey, Miguel, why don't you learn to surf? And I think, wow, that'd be amazing if I learned to surf, but here's the problem with that. I could totally get physically hurt and injured if I surfed. And what if I learned to skateboard? I think, oh yeah, wouldn't it be great if I learned how to skateboard? That'd be amazing. And you know, I'm sure it would be amazing, but what if I also broke my knees? Or my hip, or my ankles? You know, it's kind of funny. Our society is sort of built on physical risk. And what if I just took physical risk out of the equation, really? You know, let me tell you, weightlifting and doing cardiovascular exercise is physical risk. I completely understand that. And that's an amount of physical risk that basically human bodies have to take on, because if we don't get physical, you know, do weightlifting or cardiovascular exercise, we just don't thrive. You know, our cells, our muscles, our insulin response, our fatty cells, all of our bone structure and everything just fails. So there's a certain amount of risk that we have to take on as human beings. But when it comes to social risk or disease risk or anything like that, I just don't have to do any of that stuff. So, you know. So maybe that's what I want to do. Whoa. So anyway, I'm thinking that that's what I'll do. I'll just become a hermit. And not that I'll take on a hermit's values, but, you know, not that I know what hermit's values are, but maybe I'll be like a Henry David Thoreau, where I do a lot of reading or a lot of cooking or something like that. Maybe that's what I do. But here's the thing, I must say, you know, it's kind of funny. I look over the last, say, 3 years of my life, and I ask myself, what are the fun things that I did? Believe it or not, although the fun things I did were dance with other people, which I love that, dancing and going to concerts, and also going to amusement parks. I'm a big fan of amusement parks. I had no idea just how powerful a hold amusement parks had on me. You know, it must have been, you know, this must be a learning that I acquired when I was a young kid. Going to amusement parks like Disneyland and SeaWorld and Legoland and aquariums of the Pacific, and I don't know, I did go to Epcot Center one time, and you know, that is Disney World, and I'm thinking, man, you know, for me, it's not about traveling to unique countries, although I've enjoyed traveling, but really, for me, it's going about going to amusement parks. I'm serious. Going to places like water parks and things like that. I don't know. I don't know why that is. You'd think, but you know, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to have a few experiences overseas, get some real travel in. I don't know. I've traveled to places like Washington, D.C. and West Virginia and things like that, and you know, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know if traveling to New York City or traveling to Las Vegas is something I really like doing. I mean, it's fine. It's enjoyable. I love it. But I don't think I want to build a life around it, you know? Anyway, that's an interesting thing. You know, as people grow older, they just figure out what they like to do. They just figure out what they like to do. They figure out what foods they like to eat. They figure out what vegetables they like, what fruits they like. And the same is true for me. I've been figuring out what kind of books I like to read. You know, what kind of games I like to play. You know, and now, of course, there's also a way to get into a rut that way. You know, and there are things that have been changing for me, too. Like, I used to play video games all the time, and now I pretty much never play video games. And, you know, here's the thing. I miss video games, and I don't want to play them. It's kind of odd. I think about the past. You know, some of my most fond memories are memories of me in video game arcades. I mean, I have tons of memories of me in video game arcades. And let me tell you, those memories are powerful. I mean, in fact, I'm visualizing some of those right now. And I just want to go back to that day. You know, in fact, it makes me want to create a replica video game arcade in my own house. You know, if I had a house to do it in, I would definitely do that and put it like that. Put it in the attic or in the basement. I would love to have like a replica video game thing where I could play Centipede and Pac-Man and Battlezone and Lunar Lander and all those great things. Joust, Black Widow, you know, that's all about me. I'd love to do that. But here's the thing. These days I don't play any video games. I would definitely love to, I don't know, maybe that's something I want to get into. Every once in a while I think about, I think I'll buy an Xbox or a PS5, but here's the thing. My lifestyle, the way it's currently built, just doesn't have time for video game play. There's just no time. You know, if you want to have a relationship, like a romantic relationship, video game play just cannot be a part of it. It's not certainly if you work full time. And you know, believe it or not, I've got things that are more, to me, there are things that are more important than video game play. Yeah, there are. My relationships are one, certainly, my work is another. But also education, that's really important. In fact, going to a class at the local community center, community college, community center, or university, it takes higher priority than going and playing video games. And let me tell you right now, we'd love to be going to university, but can't. I just don't have the time. And so it's kind of interesting to think that, for me, education has been crowded out. And video gaming has been crowded out. I just can't do any of those things right now. And that's kind of interesting. Yeah. So, anyway, let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that there's nothing, you know, if I ever retire, which I don't plan on ever doing because I like work so much. To me, work is more than just working. You know, it's more than just working for the man. It's about social integration. You know, people always want to contribute to their society. And they think that by say, giving, say, charitably, that is giving to society. But no. My view is that if you take a job, you're giving to society. And that, I don't know, that may be a fairly controversial view. But for me, work, and the time I take out to work, is my contribution to humanity, to the world. Now, it's true, I get paid for my contribution to the world. You know, You know, and I get paid according to market forces and political and social forces. And, you know, I'm willing, and you know, and that's just the way it is. I don't see it necessarily as a fair trade, but it's a trade, and you know, it's part of my contribution to the world and society. And you know, I think that everyone, you know, plumbers, electricians, engineers of all types, teachers, doctors, nurses, you know, really that's their contribution to the world. And you know, I think it's both a give and take, but it's also, I think it's also charitable to some extent. You know, I want to help out my fellow man, and that's how I do it. So, you know, it's just how we all plug in as gears into this society. You know, without every, you know, all, you know, 8 billion people plugging in, you know, according to their ability, you know, to the extent possible. You know, so I'm not going to drop out of that. For me, it's my charitable contribution, and you know, I want to keep my gears. I want to keep my gears sharp. You know, now I don't claim to be the smartest guy on the planet. You know, but let me tell you, this kind of workaday thing keeps me going. It keeps my brain sharp. It helps me realize that I'm a contributing, you know, realize myself as a contributing member of society, and you know, I am not going to be a person to just retire and to live on my laurels. That's just not me. And you know, even if I do kind of semi-retire, it will only be like a part-time retirement. I mean, I want to continue to stay plugged into society, plugged into the media systems, the communication systems. I'm just going to be plugged into the economy. I hope I never have to leave the economy. I hope that I can always be making a contribution, whether it's being a mentor for a younger person, or being an instructor, letting people know about what I've learned. You know, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to continue making a contribution. To me, retirement is a bad word. It is a bad word. And I don't expect to ever retire. And it's not because I won't be able to, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to retire, you know, whenever I want to retire. Certainly after age 55, I could possibly do it. I have no qualms about, I think I probably could retire pretty well. Certainly by 60 or 65. Certainly by 70 or 75, but I certainly hope to continue working even when I'm 80. I know, that sounds strange. I'll be working in some capacity. Now, I may not be working 40 hours a week, but hopefully I will be working 40 hours a week. You know, I think there's something that keeps a person going. If they've got a purpose in life, you know, whether they've got something to do. They got something to do, because here's the thing. I've been depressed before, and as a depressed person, I can tell you, you definitely, I'm also a nihilist, right? I'm not saying that in a negative way. I love nihilism. I think is one of the most positive philosophies out there. But, you know, I think it's important to be plugged into purpose. And I don't think it's, and I'm sure it's possible, entirely possible to come up with your own purpose. But, you know, the way I'm built psychologically is that I like to support other people's purposes and the world's purposes. I'm not necessarily one to just advocate my own view. I'm an integrator. I'm a contributor. I'm a supporter. You know, that's just the way I live in the world. I'm not one of these independent Thoreau sorts who go out and just live on a lake and stay in the lake and able to identify my own values and needs and just like an arrow just continually work on my own project. I'm definitely not like that. For me, it's all about the shared project, the shared vision, the group effort. I'm all about the tribal benefit, the tribal the tribal welfare. That's me. And so, anyway, that's part of my value system. Anyway, talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.